Hey, did you hear about the 16-year-old kid from Moss Point, Mississippi that saved a car full of teenage girls that was sinking in a body of water? He just jumped in and acted. He didn't even think about it. And maybe you should do the same. Got it. Hey, Bill, this is like a cool story. Like this has been a couple years ago. It was back in July of I think 2022. But there's this kid, 16 years old. His name's Corion Evans. He's from Moss Point, Mississippi. And like in the middle of the night, there was a group of teenage girls. They're driving along. They're going down the interstate and they're headed towards this body of water. They misread the GPS, or the GPS gave them wrong directions. Not sure what the whole story is there. But they end up driving into this body of water, kind of like at the boat launch. And it like floats out 20 some feet and it begins to sink. Now, Corian Evans, this 16-year-old kid, he just happens to be there. And without even thinking about it, he like kicks off his shoes, he takes off his shirt, and he just goes out and he starts saving these three girls out of the car. He gets them out like on the hood of the car or on the roof of the car, and then he starts helping them towards shore. Well, then it gets better. Like, so this police officer shows up to help. And while he's helping, and you've heard this before, people who are potentially drowning, like it could be a risk to the person who's saving them because the person's just flailing or whatever. Evidently, this happens, and then the police officer actually is now starting to go underwater, and so Corian saves him too. So he saves three girls from a sinking car, as well as the police officer. So here's what I want us to dig into today, Bill, is there's some holes in the story. You can point a few of those
Oh
out.
my goodness, there's so many holes in the story.
And not necessarily holes, but just like some unanswered questions. And I'll
Fair.
let you point those out. You and I've talked this through. But is there a lesson that we can learn? Like, is our heroic actions something that we can learn, or are heroic actions something that we can, like, we just got to be prepared for? So I
Uh,
don't know. What's your take on everything so far?
So I read this uh, article and got a little bit of information on it. And like I said, we've talked. There's so many holes in this thing. I mean, just wow. And it's not just holes, but it's unanswered questions. Like
Yeah.
like what was the 16-year-old doing sitting around at 2:30 in the morning?
And just happened to be at the same location that the girls drove off
Yeah,
the
and I mean,
drove out of the water.
I understand coincidences, and
Yep.
he just happened to be there at 2:30 in the morning, and three teenage girls are out driving around at 2:30 in the morning. A lot of questions going on there, a little bit, and then talk about the officers showing up in time to help. I mean, you can't call 911 and get an officer that quick.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to think like if they drove into the water, the car starts sinking, he swims out to get them. I mean, we're not talking that's a 10, 15-minute process. That was probably a 2 or 3 minute process.
Yeah,
So some unanswered questions,
and
right?
listen,
Um,
and that's okay.
yeah,
The unanswered question thing, that's okay. Uh,
I'm good with that.
but the kind of the point of the story is he didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And even more, especially with today's kids, he didn't just pull out a phone and record it. Oh, I got you on video now, which we could have all kinds of fun if we had the video of it. But yeah, but he
Well,
didn't. Go
it's
ahead.
kind of the age-old question, right? Like, we talk about like, you know, s- would you run into a burning building to save people, or would you jump into a body of water to save people out of a sinking car, or whatever? Would you put yourself in potential harm's way to save another human being or a group of human beings? And I think for the vast majority of us, we would say, yeah, but I would like to think I would. But given the circumstances, if I'm actually faced with that, I don't think anybody knows for sure, 100%, how they would actually behave or act in that situation until they're truly faced with the situation.
Right. And
Um,
I don't.
we also, or go ahead.
was gonna say I don't necessarily want to be the one waiting, or I should say, just oh my goodness, that happened, and then find out, whether I would
Right.
act now. Now this is me. I've found out over the years, and I have many years behind me that in certain situations I don't panic. I don't know why. I lose it after the fact when I go, oh my goodness, did what you know? Here's an example. We just moved into this house. This was back in 2000. We'd been there less than a week. We had a daughter that's 10 years old, and what happened is I came home from a meeting in the evening. My wife was unpacking boxes. We were there that short of a time, and I came home. The lights were on. The door was unlocked. There was nobody in the house. I walked up to the top of the stairs, and there's a pool of blood on the floor at the top of the stairs. My daughter's not there. My wife's not there. And went, I immediately went, that's not right. I mean, literally, that's not right. And then I saw one word written on a piece of paper that said hospital. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, so kidnapping's out of the question.
Right.
The hospital's a mile and a half away, but I didn't know where the hospital was because we've been there less than a week. So I had to find the hospital. Went to the hospital, and my wife had been using the box cutter and cut herself, and just grabbed Shelby and drove to the hospital. And yeah, but I know that I didn't panic. I just started looking around for clues. But Corion Evans, he didn't look around for clues. It wasn't like, ooh, I found this thing. What should I do next? It was, they just went in the water. Someone's going to die unless I do something.
Yeah.
So he just jumped in. He just dove in.
Yeah. So, and I think, we talked, there was some additional article that we had read, or there was some research had done where there were some things in common for people who kind of like, I think they called it extreme altruism,
Okay.
right? Um, where there were some things that people had in common. And the one thing that they had in common, probably more than anything else, was they did not think. They just saw something that needed done, and they just went and done it. And I think, that's probably the first lesson is like are you I think we need to think through those things ahead of time, to think, what am I like when I see somebody in need, am I just prepared to just act without really thinking about it? And there's different degrees of need. So I guess, we kind of got to work that out ahead of time.
Right.
But thinking ahead, like, this is what I'm gonna do before the situation even happens. So I think, but it was interesting, that article was like they all didn't think, because and I know this to be true, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you do too, and our listeners probably as well, is anytime we get ready to take action on something, and it doesn't have to be extreme like saving people's lives, but anytime we get ready to take action on something, if we pause and we don't take action immediately, what do we start doing?
Second guessing.
We start to second guess, we start to think, we start to like, well, maybe I need to, you know, do more research. I need to think about this more. What could be the outcomes? What
Let's
if it doesn't turn out the way I want?
let's
Like,
analyze
all of
stuff.
a sudden,
Let's analyze. I need another week of data. I
which causes us then to do what?
procrastinate.
We don't take
We
action.
don't take action. We find every reason to get more data, figure things out. What if it doesn't work? What's my backup plan? And sometimes you just have to jump in the water, get wet, and take action. Now, obviously, in this case, Corion literally jumped into the water. He took action. Uh, he didn't have a plan. He just acted, and then figured out the plan on the way. Okay, let's get the girls up on top of the vehicle, where I know they're breathing, and then
Get them out of the car first.
yeah, get out of the car, get on the roof, get them to the shore, and oh my
And then we had
goodness,
the stupid,
oh my
I got to
goodness,
save him.
here's a cop, he's drowning too. Maybe he didn't take his Batman utility belt off and he was sinking. I don't know. Uh, but
Well,
the policemen carry like, I don't know, 100 pounds of stuff on them now, you
yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, I'm all for planning, right? Like we do need to take into account, you know, like do some logic thinking before we take action just randomly on stuff.
Right,
But does the severity of the situation then start to dictate how long we spend planning and thinking about it?
right,
So you have on one extreme, people are going to die if I don't do something. Therefore, I don't need to think about this. I just need to act. Versus go to the other extreme of, okay, I'm in getting ready to invest a lot of money into a business or an
right.
investment or whatever it is. I want to spend some time thinking through what's the payoff, what's the investment of time, what's the consequences if it doesn't work out. Am I able to and willing to lose that time, that money, that effort, that whatever it might be? So does it justify more time? So, and I don't, I mean, and maybe it's not the severity of the outcome as much as the urgency of the moment.
That's a good quote. I mean, I like that quote.
Somebody should write that down.
Fortunately, we're recording this, so everybody can write it down. Uh, sometimes,
Copyrighted. I copyrighted it. It's mine.
there you go, there you go. So, if we're thinking about this, uh, some takeaways is first of all, we have to consider, like, let's say if we're creating a business, we're in a business, we're doing stuff online, that we stop thinking about it and start actually doing it. But
Taking smash.
people don't want to do it if they're going to fail, or if they think they're going to fail. Maybe it's going to be an amazing success, but no, I got to think about it. And the more they think about it, then they lose the opportunity. Uh,
They talk themselves out of it potentially.
yeah, they talk themselves into more research, more procrastination, more
Yeah.
more whatever. You and I both know a guy. You know who we're talking about, and he is, in my opinion, he's the quickest person to market with stuff when it comes to online digital products. He just throws it out there and tests the market. And if it's a dud, you don't hear about it again. But if it's good, now what he's done in the past 3 weeks, and I follow him very closely. What he's done in the past weeks is his he figured something out with ChatGPT. He gave it to some people for free. All right. He gave it to some people for free and they loved it. And then he put it on the market for $27. And he said he sold hundreds of this at $27. So he put it out for free, tested it. Then he put the exact same thing out for $27, and now it's at $97. And people are still buying it. And that's in the last 3 weeks. He just quick, 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 quick. If he was still thinking about it, there's no business.
There's no business. Well, yeah, so you need to take action, right? Jumping back to Corion for just a moment too is like I don't want to take anything away from the actions and the deed that he did. I mean, that's
Yes.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And he saved potentially three, possibly even four people's lives. That's amazing, and all the recognition and all the accolades and everything that he's received, absolutely 100% well deserved for sure. But is his act in of itself a heroic act?
I would think so.
Does it distinguish him from other people who have heroic acts in them, even though they may not actually conduct a heroic act?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I think it goes back to this idea, right? That like we have to know what's inside of us first, and then when the opportunity presents itself. And I hate to use that as the word opportunity for people drowning in a car,
Right.
but it is an opportunity to act,
Yeah.
right? Um, and when that opportunity situation occurs, like don't think, just act.
Just, yeah, don't think, just act. Other people would say, well, if I
So
was sit, other people would say, if I was sitting there at 2:30 in the morning and that happened, I would have done the same thing. People would say that, but sometimes you just don't know.
but how many people do we see, posting things on social media? And I was like, why aren't you in there helping? You're just sitting recording. Like, I have so little respect for those people. Like, I'm watching the video, like, why are you not helping? Why are you standing there holding a phone?
Exactly. Exactly. So when you've got this great idea or you're presented with an urgent situation, stop thinking about it. Just do it. Just act. Let things play out, but don't be the one on the sidelines when somebody needs you. And if you're a person that's creating online products or whatever the case may be, think about it. People are waiting for you to act on the stuff that you've got. And you may not be doing it because you're still waiting for the right opportunity. Well, Jamie and I are here to tell you now is the right opportunity. Now is the time to act. Somebody's rescue might be tied to your decision.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. So let's leave it at that. We applaud Corion Evans for acting and not just thinking about it or recording it. So
Yep.
and we're thankful for that. So
Like, share, subscribe if you like anything that we've said.
of course they've liked
I,
of course they've liked stuff we've said, Jamie. I'm
I
just
think I would I
I'm
would like to believe that to be true.
I'm
Take
just saying.
action. Take action and make
I'm acting on this. That is Jamie French.
that right there's Bill McConnell.